So, what's the one habit ants have that could completely change your English? Not talent, not intelligence, not expensive courses, just one tiny habit. And by the end of this episode, you may discover that the biggest thing stopping your English has never been your English. Hello everyone. Welcome back to English Podcasts with Ellie. Today, we're going to learn English from one of the smallest teachers on earth, an ant. At first, that sounds strange. What could a tiny insect possibly teach us about learning a language? Actually, a lot. Scientists have spent many years studying ants. They've discovered something fascinating. Ants are not the strongest animals. They are not the fastest. They are not the smartest. But together, they have survived for more than 100 million years. Think about that. Dinosaurs disappeared. Many animals became extinct, but ants, they are still here. So maybe they know something that we don't. Today, let's discover their secret. Imagine a tiny ant leaving its nest early in the morning. It has only one mission: find food. The world around it is enormous. Every stone feels like a mountain. Every leaf looks like a giant tree. Every drop of rain is like a swimming pool. Still, the ant walks, slowly, quietly, one step, then another. It doesn't know where the food is. It doesn't even know if it will find any, but it starts anyway. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you wanted to study English, but didn't? Maybe you were tired, maybe you were busy, maybe you thought I'll start tomorrow. The ant never says I'll walk tomorrow. It simply takes the next step. Maybe that's the first lesson. Don't wait, take the next step. Now imagine something happens. The ant finds a huge wall. The food is on the other side. The wall is too high, too wide, too difficult. What do you think the ant does? Does it sit down? Does it complain? Does it say, I'm just not good at this? No, it walks left. The wall continues. It walks right. Still no opening. It climbs. It falls. It tries again. Eventually, it finds another way. Scientists have observed this behavior many times. Ants don't usually stop because the first path is blocked. They search for another one. Notice something important. The goal never changes. Only the path changes. And maybe that's exactly what many English learners forget. Some people spend months memorizing grammar. Nothing changes, so they quit. Others memorize thousands of words, still afraid to speak, so they quit. Others only watch videos, still can't understand native speakers, so they quit. The ant would never quit. It would simply choose another path. Maybe today, listening, tomorrow reading, next week speaking, the goal stays the same. Your method changes. People often say ants are hard workers. That's true, but I don't think that's their greatest secret. Their greatest secret is consistency. An ant doesn't work for 8 hours today and then disappear for the next 6 days. It keeps moving. Every day, small steps. Again and again and again. Now, think about two English learners. The first studies English for 4 hours every Saturday. The second studies for just 10 minutes every day. Who do you think will improve faster after 1 year? Most people are surprised by the answer. Your brain learns better through repeated practice. Small learning session, repeated over time. It creates stronger memories than one giant study session. In other words, your brain loves consistency, just like the ant. Maybe that's why learning English has never been about studying harder. Maybe it's about showing up again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Every tiny step is building something you cannot see yet, just like an ant carrying one tiny piece of food back to its home. Let's ask a different question. Does an ant ever fail? Of course it does. Sometimes the food is too heavy. Sometimes the wind blows it away. Sometimes another insect takes it. Sometimes the trail disappears after the rain. Failure is part of an ant's life. But here's the amazing part. The ant never treats failure as the end of the story. It treats failure as information. Something to learn from. Imagine the ant saying, "That didn't work, so what should I try next?" Now imagine an English learner. They learn 20 new words. A week later, they forget 15 of them. Many people think, my memory is terrible. I'm not good at languages. I'll never become fluent. But maybe they're asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Try asking, what's wrong with my method? Maybe you need to hear the words more often. Maybe you need pictures. Maybe you need stories. Maybe you need to use the words in real conversations. Don't change your dream, change your strategy. The ant already knows that. Every time you study English, your brain changes. Not in one big moment, but little by little. Scientists call this process learning through repetition. Imagine building a path through a forest. The first time, it's difficult. The grass is tall, the trees are everywhere, but every time you walk the same path, it becomes clearer, easier, faster. Your brain works in a very similar way. Every English word you review makes that path a little stronger. Every sentence you hear makes that path a little wider. Every conversation you have makes that path easier to follow. That's why 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, and 10 minutes the next day can be far more powerful than studying for 3 hours only once. Small steps don't look impressive until you repeat them hundreds of times. Have you ever said, I'll start on Monday. I'll begin next month. I'll study when I have more free time. Most of us have, but the ant doesn't wait for the perfect day. It doesn't wait to feel inspired. It doesn't wait until the weather is perfect. It simply does the next small thing. That's another lesson for us. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Motivation comes and goes. Habits stay. If your English depends only on motivation, some days you'll study, many days you won't. But if your English becomes a habit, you won't need to make the decision every day. You'll simply begin, just like brushing your teeth, just like drinking water, just like the ant taking its next step. Right now, I'd like you to think about something. What is one tiny English habit you could start today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe listening for 5 minutes, maybe reading one short page, maybe learning 3 new words, maybe speaking one sentence out loud. It sounds small, almost too small, but remember, an ant doesn't move a mountain in one day. It moves one tiny piece, then another, and one day the impossible becomes possible. Don't try to become perfect. Just become the ant. The ant's secret to learning English was this. Please comment your ideas below and subscribe for more lessons like this. See you in the next episode.